There we go. Okay. Oh, I always forget to turn my speakers off, so it always gives me that echo. Hello, welcome to Pieces of Pat Paints. It is Friday. I don't remember what date it is. The 19th of January in 2024. So, we are going to finish this Psychoface today. It's been a long time coming. It's getting better and better all the time. We're going to get all this white stuff fixed up today. That's just leftover residue from when we put together our terrain, and it'll take paint pretty good. All right, so yesterday we did a bunch of rocks, and we've been forming this base and getting this base ready to go. I added some more rocks overnight so that they could dry and we could do all this other stuff today. So I kind of put a few rocks in a few different little places, and we're going to put some grass in this area, and then I have a bunch of other little trims and stuff like that we're going to put on here. I'm going to put another round of paint on it, and then we're gonna paint up some of these Rebel to look more like this, so that it will match the back end of our Psychophage. Let me get that mic closer. I always forget to pull this mic too. One of these days I'm gonna have all this stuff like perfect, and then what are we gonna do? Because then I'm gonna have it all right. We won't be able to make funny jokes about how I don't do well on the internet. Anywho, so we're gonna get started on this. I'm gonna glove up, and we're gonna throw some more paint on this and get all the rest of the stuff painted. For those of you who weren't here yesterday or haven't, you can go back and watch the other video if you'd like. We prefer for you to stick around and chat with us, but if you want, go watch the other one, see what we did. So these are out of styrofoam. I showed a couple different ways to do rocks. So that's out of styrofoam, and this is out of cork, and then of course these are just pieces of actual rock I found in my gravel driveway, because might as well. Works out pretty good, and nothing looks like rock quite like rock. Who knew? Anyway, so like I said, we're gonna get started, and we're gonna paint some of that up. Hope everybody's having a lovely Friday. I know I am. It's been a pretty decent little day today. Had a cup of coffee and some of these old sausage roll frozen things. They weren't very good, but it didn't matter. At least I ate something. And you know, just been hanging out, listening to lore and painting termagants. We have a whole lot. We have more. We're getting more and more termagants as this goes on. Eventually, this will all be full of units, I think. Although we may be, like I said, I think we're going to take a quick break from Tyranids next week, and we're going to finish up this, or we're going to do this Hamilton pop, Funko pop. We're going to put a gold H on it, and we're going to take it. Anyway, so this is our lovely base. It looks great. I'm pretty happy with it. I love the levels of it. We're going to get it to where it matches up some of these other things a little bit better. It's kind of our idea next. So, oh, come here. I don't know why they're so hard to get out of there sometimes, but brushes certainly are. Alright, remember which brushes. Always have your paper towel. We have our paper towel ready to go. So that we can do this stuff. And now that it's all glued together, it's a whole lot easier to pick this thing up. When it was loose yesterday, it was giving me some fits. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in, now that we know our marks are good, we're going to fill in all these. I don't know if you can actually see them because of the resolution that comes through over right now, but excuse me. There's some small little dots, and then of course there's this big piece of white here, and this big piece of white here. We're just going to put a little bit of paint on that to kind of help protect it, and so when it bonds, it doesn't just rip at any of the plaster that's underneath there. And we'll bond that. When bond the model to the deal. And remember, we've got this one toe hole that actually punches into the base itself, and that right there is going to really help us with making sure that it doesn't get ripped up off of our base from the points of contact that it has on our Sculptamold. Anyway, that's a lot to say. Alright, where were we? Oh yes, we were putting in color. So this is that burnt umber. It's going to be a little bit more of a reddish color. I put down more raw umber yesterday than burnt umber, but we want to add this burnt umber in as our next color, just to kind of give the dirt two tones. Dirt typically has more than one tone to it. You might not always notice that when you're looking at a picture of dirt. But we're going to just come in these raised sections, we're going to add a little bit of this dirtier red color. That's the good thing about umbers and having umbers around. They make great colors for ground. They look like mud, so they look like dirt. That's good stuff. That's what we want. And some of these places where maybe the brush strokes, oh, thank goodness that turned off. So some of the places where these brush strokes maybe need to be taken over the top of the other direction to give it a little bit more of a natural look. Because we don't want brush strokes necessarily in our finished product. And we're just going to kind of keep coming over some of these spaces, a little bit of this other mud color. Mud color. Alright, let's see. And move it around, because these little places where we missed yesterday on our first coat, there are going to be these little crevices and little dots. So we just want to kind of make sure we're getting there. Getting all these little dots taken up. It looks weird if all of a sudden you see a little white dot on what's supposed to be your mud. It'll make you a little crazy. Alright. Some of that striation is the Sculptamold. So we can kind of work a little bit with it. I just coming back down across it with the other direction with our brush strokes. Kind of let it catch it. But you can see how that Sculptamold is already giving us a nice, it looks like ground. And that's what we want. We want it to look like the ground. Alright. Now this brush is a whole lot less stiff than the one we were using yesterday. And that one we were using yesterday is probably some of the cause of a little bit of this striation look. It was maybe a little too soft yesterday in some spaces, and we may have moved some plaster around a little bit, but a little bit of striation is helpful. It will look like the movement of erosion or whatever have you. But you got to make sure you're playing it right. If you're trying to make a river that looks like it's flowing, then you want to pull the striations the right direction. That's really starting to look primo, though. Definitely looks muddy, grungy. We start pulling in some of that grass. That's going to look really nice. The contrast between the browns and the greens and the purples and the oranges it's all going to come together real nice. Look great. Still trying out some new camera angles. I think I like this one a lot. This one I don't feel like I'm about to smash the camera when I'm painting. And it looks like we're getting a pretty good look at what we're doing. Maybe not quite as in focus as I'd like it to be, but boom, there we go. That's good focus. That looks nice. Yeah, you can really see the colors and how this is playing up for us. Oh yeah, this is gonna look magnificent. You guys are gonna love it. I'm gonna love it, so that's what really matters. My daughter already loves it. I think she's decided that she's gonna take over our Tyranid army, which is fun. The boys already kind of have their armies picked out, so and she wants to play. So it's kind of nice to have an army like this that she can play with. She doesn't have as many opinions as the boys do about like what to play and all that sort of stuff. She just likes playing things and she likes to be involved, which is awesome. And so I'm glad we have I'm glad we're going to have two different kind of house armies we can play with, so she can play if she wants. I don't think Kristen will ever play. This isn't her kind of game. She likes the role playing games, but this is a little bit more. I don't know that she's into the war strategy like the boys are. The boys and I are pretty into it. And that's okay. She loves the models. And she even kind of giggles at some of the lore. Because golly, guys, listen, the lore of the 40K is ludicrous and hysterical. Ludicrous and hysterical. In that order. Absolutely ludicrous. There's the... Now this is just a joke amongst the internet peoples. I don't know that this ever happened in any of the lore books, but the joke about orcs that were fighting guardsmen, because orcs can have this, they have this ability to manifest whatever they believe, or what is the idea. And so one day there's guardsmen, which are humans, regular humans, not Astartes, which are the metahumans. They're fighting these orcs, and they were starting to run out of ammunition, and so one of the guardsmen goes, bang! And the orc that's in front of him drops over dead, even though there was no actual ammunition in the gun, because the orc believed that there was ammunition and that the guy shot him. So everybody else in the guard regiment started just going bang, 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 and orcs started dying. Well, this was working out really well, and everybody was very excited. They thought, okay, well, we're going to survive this battle. Fantastic. And then they hear this sound of all the orcs screaming and yelling. And they were like, oh, okay, what's going on? And over the hill comes a bunch of orcs all stacked together. Kind of like a little phalanx. And they're running up the hill. And the guards are yelling, bang, 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 bang. And nothing's happening. They're like, oh, crap. And they're out of ammo. But as they get closer, they can hear the orcs that are all together coming up the hill. And they hear them all chanting in unison. I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank. And that is the idea of the power of belief in the orcs for Warhammer 40K. Like I said, I have never been able to find anybody who has a source for that in any kind of actual lore. So it's not canon. But golly, it's funny. Alright, so we're going to put just a little bit to protect this. Again, like we did the other ones. Just kind of protect the plaster part of that Sculptamold for when we glue it down. Okay. I'm going to let that soak that out. It's going to work out great. don't want too much because we want it to be able to bond to whatever glue is down there. We just want to make sure it's not gonna. I don't know if it's stuck on there wrong when it rocks. It will not. It's not gonna be fun. It'll pull itself apart too much, and we don't want that. Okay, cat hair. All right, so the next thing you need to do is finish off all these rocks. So we're going to start making gray again. And this is just like we did with the last ones. We're just kind of dabbling that in. Oh, some of that's still a little loose in there. What we can do with the loose ones is add more of that watered down tacky glue. I'm just going to make sure we get all the little spots where it looks like cork. Make sure that's covered. And we're going to come back through with the lighter color and stipple the rest of it. We want to make sure any of the exposed stuff is taken care of first and foremost. And it's cork, so it likes wet. Just be careful with how wet you get it, because you don't want it running down onto the ground off of the cork pieces. And we don't want it getting out of control. But that cork will soak up some paint. I don't know what that was. It was white though. And we want this. I don't want to paint those regular rocks. I just want to paint the parts where I feel like I'm going to make it as part of that wall that kind of got exposed or whatever it was. It was definitely man-made. So now we got bits of rubble from it everywhere. That paint thing being way over here is so funny. It's kind of irritating for me a little bit, but on the other hand, it's like I love having it to where you can see the palette I'm working with, because it's super. I feel like that's super helpful. And we only had to redo this I think one time because we had a big mistake, but we've been keeping this palette going, and all this stuff has stayed fresh. I just have to keep re-wetting the sponge that's in here, and it's keeping the paints running pretty okay, which is great, especially with the kind of paints I use, because they're a little bit, you know, they're a little higher dollar, and yeah, you can do all this stuff with like cheap model store paint as long as you thin it out properly. You may not have the same richness of pigments, and it may not come out quite as nice looking, but you can get a pretty decent little effect. And these, you can spend more money if you want, buy nicer paints, or hobby paints that you buy from, well, like Armor Painter or Citadel or Pro Acryl. Those are all really good paint companies. They make really great stuff. It really has to do with kind of, you know, what colors you like, and do you like mixing colors more than you like having just the immediate color you want. So like if I like mixing colors, I'm good at it, and it's something I enjoy doing. That's why I can do some of the stuff I do is highly dependent on me being able to blend colors properly. But like not everybody's into that, and that's not, like I say all the time, you know, the secret to this hobby, or miniature painting in general, is just to have a good time. When people start getting a little too hung up on, oh, that's not the right way, then they're missing kind of the point, you know. When we were younger and we were first getting into this stuff, what was the point? Well, the point was to play game. that was the point. Like, it, painting the models was cool. That was the point, was to play the game. So, like, I'm sure a lot of our audience that does mess with Warhammer, their main goal is to play the game. And some folks that'll be here, they'll be here for miniature advice or whatever, and some people are just gonna watch this because they like to watch art. I've had two people pipe up and say that, which was really cool. I really like the idea that people just enjoy watching others make things. I think that's really neat. So like our channel does all sorts of things, but my main takeaway for anybody that comes to our channel that plays these games is that, like, don't let anybody tell you you're doing it the wrong way, because, like, the object is to play a game. So you shouldn't take yourself too seriously, because the game is, it's just a game. It is a game. Now, I mean, this is setting aside like tournament players and whatever, because those guys, that's a little bit more serious. There's money on the line there. It gets a little crazy, honestly. But that stuff notwithstanding, the main object here is to just have a good time. So if you're having fun and you like the way your miniatures look, that's all that really matters. Okay, I'm just kind of coming back like we did with our other rocks. This is a little easier because I'm not trying to pinch it with my fingers. But I'm just kind of stippling the paint on there. I don't need it to be completely covered in this next color, because we're doing that deal where we're lightening up our grays as we're going along. And again, you need to resist the urge to smash your brush into things. I know it is hard, but resist. And you want this on the tops of this stuff. We are going to kind of go down on the sides of a little bit of it, especially with this first round, because it's a little darker. But try to relieve the very far valleys, the darkest gray. And that's going to help sell this whole look. Because that's how things look in general, how light touches it or whatever. And it's kind of where it's kind of nice to put this down like this, because now we can color the rocks in place, so we can kind of understand where the sunshine is hitting it and where it's not. But I did like coloring those other ones just as was, just to show you how you do it. And that's one of the things I really do like about the idea I have for this channel, is that we're just live painting. And so you're going to see everything. You're going to see my mistakes. And you're going to know that you're going to make mistakes, and that mistakes are okay, and that there's a way to get through our mistakes. We just need to pay a little attention, go a little slower maybe, get a little practice on the parts that don't matter quite so much. We talked about that with the psychophage. Those little parts that don't matter quite so much can really help us get some confidence. So good. Oh yeah, looking so nice. I'm really liking it. Somebody's big old truck outside. Oh, y'all can't hear it, but I sure did. Revving it. Vroom, vroom, vroom. I used to think that, oh, that's a kid. It's not. It's a grown-ass guy. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm looking for some, like, 20-something or something like that. Now it's I don't think he's my age, but he's definitely in his 20s, late 20s or 30s, revving his truck down the road. It's like, golly, man. Okay, brother, whatever makes you happy. Yeah, there we go. Time to go up another level. I'm going to pull a little bit more white in. And that's just how we're going to do it. You slowly keep getting the color lighter and lighter and lighter until we get to the top of it all. Of the color. Get the color up to the top. And we're just kind of tipping it around. It doesn't have to be completely covered. Just kind of want to frost it maybe a little bit. And if we get it too light, if we get it on there and we're like, oh, it's too light, we can come back and we can darken it down again and kind of put that down underneath. And with rock, it just kind of looks like quartz or whatever. You know, where there's just a lighter color underneath some of the darker colors. Now you do want to make sure, like I said before, we want to make sure that the very tops of everything have that lighterness. We can even put some on our pieces that we already have on there that we painted yesterday, if we need to lighten it up again. And we'll when we do the pillar, it's really going to be important to make sure we're matching up that brightnesses properly. I think we're going to be pretty good here. That's the thing with making sure you know what colors you're using so that you can duplicate what you've done already. Real easy to lose track of if you're not paying attention or writing it down, or there's lots of reasons why it might not go your way. Color wise, you might make a mistake. And the best way to avoid it is to write it down. That's what I do. I write it down. I wrote down the code to the Tyranids before I even started this whole deal. When I started doing the experimentations, and it's actually, I refined it from the very first one. If you look at the brain bug versus the prime versus what we're working on right now, they're all very different. Well, not very different. You can see the change of the paint scheme and the evolution of it. I shouldn't say they're very different. That's not exactly right. It seems like it takes forever, but it's totally worth all the time to go ahead and just stipple on this stuff. We're just trying to touch it, leave little gaps, little areas where it doesn't have the color. Make sure the very tops are hit. You can see how it's starting to look just like the other bits of that rubble piece that we painted. But we have that, oh, nice. Now it's zoomed in real good for us. They're starting to look exactly the same, which is what we want. We want it to look exactly the same. And then let our natural rocks or our other change up. We might even add a little bits of sand and stuff like that in here just before when we go to flock it. We'll put in maybe a little bit of sand in some of this areas and maybe some of these little spots down here just to kind of give it some more textures. But I might not. I'm always leery about doing those sort of things. We may just bring that grass in right here on the edge and let it be there, and then add the other little bits. Now there's a little bit of a hole down there, isn't there? And that's why you keep looking around on it. And you can see why we want to get this done before we put the model on. Because once we put the model on, we can't paint any of this stuff. It's stuck in there then, and we're not going to be able to paint it again. So we want to try and make sure we get all this done, all the little bit of painting stuff done before we put our creature back down. And it gives that a little, you know, it's that whole fake it till you make it thing. Gonna fake those rocks, make them look like rocks, make them look like concrete rubble or whatever. Because nothing has the same color in reality. It doesn't work out that way. You know, rocks have different colors and textures and stuff. So it looks great when you have a multitude of different textures and colors. Okay, I think it's time for some bold action. I'm about ready to put that thing down on here. Like I said, we'll put our grass in. We can put that on once the psychophage is in place. So I think it's time to glue him down. Now, normally to glue things to bases, I use like a super glue. I don't know that I want to use super glue here, although it might bond it pretty well. But I kind of want to be, I kind of want it to have, super glue when it crystallizes is really weird and crunchy. So I don't know that we want to do that. I think that might pull on us wrong. So we're probably going to use our tacky glue. Because it's been working pretty well with everything else. And it'll be easier to remove if something goes wrong with a piece. It'll be easier to fix it, because it'll be easier to remove. So, and like I said, it's going to give us a little bit more like textures and stuff we can paint to fill in gaps. We can check it a little. We can do a little bit more with it. Super glue is it does the job very, very well, but it is definitely, there's something about the way it is that doesn't always, it's not always the answer. Sometimes PVA is. Normally I would definitely use I would use a super glue. All right, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Get on here. All right, that one is sunk. That piece is on. That piece is on. That piece is in. All right. Might need some clamps. It's always good. It's always good to have a large number of clamps. You can't see all my clamps because the camera angle, but I have a large amount of clamps. I like them. I use them a lot. So clamps are going to be helpful in this situation. And I have different types of clamps for different types of things. Alright, that one might need to be popped out. Okay, so with this, we can take this and maneuver like that. And it'll set up like that. There we go. Okay. Now we gotta let this dry for just a little while, and then we might end up needing to add some things to some of these areas to make them look properly, or make them look proper. But that's us glued down on there. So we're gonna wait a little while. We're gonna let it start to set up. And once this glue hardens, should be in good shape. Ooh, throwing stuff around. Alright, so that we're going to let that sit up over here. And we'll get to work on this Screamer Killer while we're doing that. Or maybe we can, oh, I don't know. Maybe I can do this Funko Pop while we're here sitting around. Gotta find out the, take a look at this logo again. So it's for the Hamelin Separate and Lounge is the name of it. And it is in it's in Oklahoma City. It is a wonderful place. It's located in North Park Mall, if you know where that is. Go check them out. Yeah, their logo is pretty simple. Let's see. It's a stylized H. You know what? We'll have to do this. We'll have to do this later. No way we can do this today. I gotta get a little more set up. But we are certainly set up to paint more of these guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get back to work on this one while we wait on that PVA glue to dry, which doesn't take as long as you think. See, I tried to move this out of the way so I wasn't banging the camera. I'm still banging the camera. I think maybe I just need to get better at maybe just not banging the camera. So anyway, back to where we were on this guy. So we're trying to kind of do the same thing with the last one. We're working on this tail is what we're working on. So we're picking those places in those crevices that need to be magenta. The deepest folds are the places closest to the armor. And remember, this is one of those first couple of coats, so we're not really too worried about it being thin or whatever. We just want to lay down a marker, and when we wash it, it'll be super helpful that we did, because it's going to help us retain these colors down the road. And I'm not jamming my brush in there. I'm just kind of rolling it in a little bit of a circle. It may look like I'm smashing it down in there. I promise you I am not. You do not want to smash your brush into little holes. It is really bad for them. That's how you make brushes that you use for putting washes on stuff. You jam them in holes and run them around. Alright, we had this guy off this base last time, didn't we? Getting pretty good at using the back of these paintbrushes to push these things out. They're not quite small enough. Luckily, I keep an immense amount of skewers around. And if I don't have these, I have other things that will punch them out of these. I always love that sound, but sometimes I feel like maybe it's going to be annoying. And I don't know who else likes that sound but me. So that right here, we got a little bit of a strangeness from the mallow. We're not going to stress it. We're just going to paint it like the tail is there. And it'll be easier to cover up that way, because we'll be able to make it that darker color. And so it'll look a little bit better. And we could have taken care of that before we put all this together, but I wasn't necessarily worried about it at the time, namely because, as I've mentioned before, my kids wanted to play the game, so I put them together so the kids could see it and play the game, and here we are. So oh goodness, what an itch. Well, this guy's stepping on. What's he stepping on? That's some sort of piping, and that's some sort of concrete. I don't know that we necessarily need to mess with him too much when we go to base him. That's nice, especially after all that work we just did on the last one. But I'll definitely do it again. I'll do it again too. All right, let me bring this down just a little bit. All that's gotta. This will be interesting with this bigger piece. Be able to do a lot more work on the. Because he's got a lot more like that skeleton bone stuff. So he's going to be a lot brighter than the Psychophage. That's a cool model. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people don't like it. I think they look great. A lot of people think they look derpy. Okay. Tracking. Alright, so the next thing, I gotta get these things magentaed. We'll check that Psychophage here in just a little bit. It is drying. Getting a few viewers coming in, that's great. I can never tell who's hanging out and who's not. So if you're hanging out, appreciate you coming by. If you just popped in real quick and you left, thanks for coming. If you stuck around, feel free to say something in the chat. Always like to hear from people. It's kind of nice to be able to have some sort of subject direction to go when I'm doing all this. I try to keep it up with the particular models we're working with, but it's hard to get into too much Warhammer because it is so immense. This is a Carnifex. I mean, it is a Screamer Killer. Is the type of Carnifex it is. There are other types of Carnifexes, which is where this one starts to get its hate from, because there's other Carnifexes out there, and some people think that the other Carnifexes are cooler or whatever. And that's pretty human, right? That's kind of how we are as people. So, no, I like mine better. So that's the original one, I think, was a Screamer Killer. The original model, I think, was similar to this. And so when they redid the box to put the Tyranids new line out, which is what we're painting, they brought this guy back, kind of, with yet another update. So he's kind of like a poster child for Tyranids. Him and Old One Eye. Old One Eye is the other type of Carnifex, and he apparently lost an eye in a really awesome duel to a really amazing Space Marine. This tail's gonna be cool. I think we'll be able to like fade it up to the top on the edges. It's gonna look really cool. I'm very excited to paint this one. But like I said, I think the start of next week we'll probably start off with our Funko Pop project, because we got to do that. That's the way business works. Oh, shoot, I threw that right in the wrong place. It'll be alright. We're going to paint over that later. Welcome. We got to get more viewers. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Feel free to say something in the comments. Ask questions. Tell us who you're from. Tell us where you're from. Who you are if you want. It's usually just me hanging out here, painting. Talking about painting. Talking about the things I'm painting. You know, all those sort of things. if you're a hobbyist, then this might be a good channel for you, especially if you're new to the hobby of painting miniatures and stuff. Since this is all live painting, you can see it when I make mistakes, and you can see kind of how I correct them, which is great. Like, because anybody who says they don't make mistakes is lying to you. I know that might make a few people upset, but it's true. You can't you can't be perfect all the time. It doesn't work that way. So, and you know, I've said several times today, even paint your way. If you like some of my techniques, great. If you only want to take one or two of them away from what I do, great. And find some other things you like. Fantastic. You should paint the way you want to paint, the way you like to paint. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. You're the one who paid all that money for the plastic anyway. Do what you want with it. Mine look cool. At least I think mine look cool. Several other people seem to think mine look cool. I have people who definitely stop by to watch these videos after the fact, which I think is like super cool. And anybody who comes and sees us live, I really appreciate you guys. You're amazing. Thanks for stopping in. Even if you're only here for just a little bit, really appreciate it. Main goal here is just to share kind of what I do and talk to folks, and whenever they want, they have questions or whatever, maybe I can answer them. That light's maybe up too high again. I'm always struggling with getting that lighting to stay proper. I think it changes depending on what I'm using, what I'm coloring, I should say. I can take that down a shot or two. Yes, no, maybe, no. Yeah, it's a little better. Maybe we go down one more. Come down one more. I think that's as low as we're going to get. At least with that one. Maybe with the other. Maybe my other light can come down. It is super glary, isn't it? It's getting a little better. I have all these fancy lights that I can make them go all different ways. Which is super wild. Let me bring that desk lamp down just a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, that looks a little better, right? Now we can see a little bit more of the details. Not quite as bright for me, but that's alright. I don't mind. I'd really rather you guys be able to see what I'm doing than it be super bright for on my end. Yeah, he's looking cool. Alright, let's check our psychophage and see how he's looking. I kind of feel like I'm back to cooking. I used to, for those of you who don't know, I was a chef. And so like changing that, things like, oh, well, let's check on this. Feels like I'm back on TV cooking, which is a lot of fun for me. Alright, so psychophage. We're waiting on this PVA glue to dry up. I think we're still not quite there. It's getting better. Yeah. Looking pretty good. I wish I could get that piece maybe just a little bit in more. Looks alright though. Yeah. It's going to look great. It's going to look really nice. So I'm going to let this PVA glue dry a little bit longer. We'll keep working on our screamer killer. I have a little stand over here of cups for it to kind of like sit in. Kind of weird. It's getting a little hot in my robe here. Maybe finally be able to turn off some of these heaters. I always have to keep this room really warm because it has all the the resin printers and the, not that I print all the time, but I have my houseplants in here. I like houseplants. So yeah, keep this room nice and warm for them. And the cats love it. Especially Butt. He is definitely the studio cat. Like, he likes to hang out in the studio. He was in here again earlier today. He just kind of likes chilling out in here. Okay. All right. There we go. That definitely is a better camera angle, I think. It's not quite my point of view, but it's pretty darn close. Heck, it might even be almost a little bit better than my point of view. Just because I have to look at it a certain way to look at the brush. I think you can kind of see where it's going better on there, which is great. That's kind of what we want. Every now and again, that little light ring gets in the way, though. That's all right. I really think that lower light looks great. It definitely seems to grab it better. So, anyway, here's our concept. For those of you who haven't seen the concept art, this was the Tyranid Prime. I got him done up, and he looks great. So we're kind of basing everything on this, this color scheme. It's similar to the Leviathan color scheme that came with the box that came with this particular setup that all these minis came out of. Was the Leviathan box set, which has it's the 10th edition release for Warhammer 40k. And if you're unfamiliar with Warhammer 40k, it is a war game. Which means it's basically like Army Men with rules. And whenever you were a kid, you used to play Army Men. Well, this is like somebody invented rules for your Army Men game, and now you play Army. Alrighty. It is a lot of fun. It's definitely a hobby for younger folks a lot of times, but I know plenty of older folks that get into it. So I guess it's really a hobby for all ages. I guess I started it when I was young, so I feel like it was something a young guy would get into. But it's been with me for a long time. It's definitely part of that nerd nostalgia kind of thing. If you were super nerdy in the 80s and 90s, you probably know Warhammer. Especially if you are any kind of Britophile like me. I was a huge fan of lots of things Scottish, lots of things British. When I was young, I thought that was really cool. My family is Scottish and Welsh and English and a little bit of Scandinavian, Norse, I think, that sort of stuff. I think you're a little bit of all that stuff if you're from that. You know, if you're an American, Caucasian, you probably have a little bit of several different places in you. Just like if somebody's from Asia and they're American, it's a possibility that they have several different Asian ethnicities. And same things with Hispanics or African Americans or anybody. You know, everybody's kind of got a little bit cool history, where they came from, what their people did. I always think that stuff's cool. I got really into Mayan stuff, I guess it was last year, researching Mayan religion and its creation story. The Popol Vuh, I believe, if I remember right. I don't know. But I think cultures are fascinating. It's probably why I like 40K so much. It kind of has its own little cultures and subcultures, and each faction kind of has a culture to it, and the game itself has a culture to it, and pretty nerd-tastic, honestly. Pretty nerd-tastic. Alright. Paint these vents in. Just want to put a thin coat on there. I'm not really worried about it being too soaked in. Just a nice quick thin coat on there. Something in it. You can hear rattling around. It's like a little baby rattle. He's the rattler. Oh, fun. That's good stuff. So we're going to be on here for a little while. I can feel it. So we're definitely going to have to wait on. We're waiting on glue to dry at this point. So buckle up, Buttercup. We're going to be going for a while. I definitely know that I'm excited to have that psychophage done. I can't wait to see it finished in all its glory. I know that these little the stuff I'm going to do for its base is really going to sell it. It's going to look good. Real good. Dang good. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it looks like I colored that on that other one. Bring that to the similar to the leg we did on the psychophage. I should have brought some more water in. I'm gonna end up thirsty. Okay. How are we looking? No, still not quite there. It's getting closer though. You can speed up PVA glue with like fans and stuff like that, but it's not always the best idea. But we definitely want to kind of let it take its time and do its thing. Boy, it's got these little ventral things everywhere. He got more on it than the psychophage did for sure. I don't even think you can see them precisely on the camera until I fill them in. Yeah, I can get every single one of these. Just trying to put those markers down so we know where it's at when we come back. It doesn't have to be super colored in, but we want to make sure it's got a little bit of that magenta. That way we know where we're going. And it helps us when we start to do our blend if some of these areas are already dark. It helps us be able to blend from dark to light. Because then we just have to take care of the middle transition because the dark is already there and the light is already there. This is where some of that messed up primer is kind of working against us. Since it powderized when it aerosoled, it is a little funky. Which honestly, now that I have an airbrush and I'm almost out of rattle cans, I'm probably going to airbrush primer everything from now on. just because it's better. It's better. Yeah, you have more control. There's nothing wrong with the rattle cans, but I feel like being able to control it is going to be super, super nice. You don't have quite as much control with a rattle can. I mean, I know some people that listen, I know some people with some serious control. But it ain't like an airbrush. There's no rattle can on the planet like an airbrush. Yes, yes, yes. I like that. My phone flashing for some reason. Who knows? Kind of want to start putting it on a little bit of a music and let it kind of play in the background. We kind of have to wait for oh, why do that? We have to wait for me to get Cox in here. TDS is terrible. At least it is here. Maybe it's good somewhere else, but it's not good here. It's been awful. So we're going to flip over, and unfortunately, I got to go with Cox, it looks like. So we're going to have that in soon. And that'll help us with, it'll make these videos look a lot better. So you'll actually be seeing them in the same definition I'm seeing them in, which is way better than they look when they get up there. Yeah, no. And that's all right. I mean, it's not, but it is. They should be doing better for the amount of money they charge us. And that's the thing, y'all. Listen, test your stuff on a regular. Yeah, there's all sorts of little things you can download, I guess, to test your speed and whatever have you. And from what I understand, get a third-party tester. Don't rely on the internet companies, what they tell you. Get an independent testing thing. There's an app for it, or you can go to a site, I think, website, and it'll test it for you. I'm not exactly sure. All right. Definitely coming along. This guy may actually be easier in the end because I don't have quite as much crazy bulbous blending like I did on the Psychophage. Its belly made things a little complicated. Honestly, this guy is already easier than those little frickin' Termagants. Good lord, those tiny guys are a pain in the butt. Especially with this paint scheme I'm trying to do. It's not maybe I should have done it the way they do it. Nah. It's so much cooler like this. Oh yeah. A little bit more of these little vent things, whatever the heck these things are. They look like vents just because of the way they're textured, but who knows what they actually are. Just decor, I guess. Gribblies. Models will look cool when they have gribblies. And again, don't worry about being super precise here. We're just trying to get the color in to get it started. It's okay if we make a little mistake. We're going to blend a lot of the stuff in later. So it's okay. Get a little out of the lines. Don't worry about it. We're going to fix all that stuff later. Just get the color down so we can get the wash on. That's the key. And we want it pretty close. I mean, we don't want to like go nuts and get all ham-handed, but for the most part, pretty safe. Oh yeah, we're getting closer. We are getting closer. That was my finger. I took it off of the model. And then I just snapped my finger in it. Ow. It's stuck on there now, though. So that's great. I don't think I broke my finger, though. Which is also great. Golly, that hurt. Ow. Ow. It's funny. Alright, well, he's stuck on there now. Okay, that's good. Looks like maybe... Nope, nope, looks like it's not quite done yet. Alright, so we gotta glue that side back down. Oh, man, that was funny. That side's good, though. So, we got that going for us. Where's that thing that snapped me? That's funny. Snapped a snot out of me, too. Golly, that hurt. Okay. Okay. I opened it up to get it off there and just snap on the finger. Good Lord. Okay. I think we're we're okay. That's fun. I've had a lot worse injuries than that. I do think I need to get us something to drink. I think I'm out in here. I am. All right. I'm gonna be right back. Maybe I need to write a note. That's funny. We're gonna write a note. We're gonna put on this to say "Be right back." That way, in case anybody jumps on here. Let me see. Yes. That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna go get some water. I'm gonna stretch my leg out real quick. Which you should after an hour. You should really take a break, stretch your leg out. I'm gonna go get some water. I'm gonna be right back. Goodness. All right. That didn't even take very long. It was kind of fun to put the note out, though. Don't judge my note writing. The cloth was wet, and I was using a Sharpie. It's not even cloth; it's like paper towel. Okay. Listen, y'all. It's a paper towel, and it was wet. Sharpie. So, I mean, it still looked alright. I only had like one issue, like one. Yeah. Now I'm just trying to stall for time so this silly glue will dry. I should have put the glue on it yesterday, but yeah, no. I was like, yeah, we're trying to do it on the deal so everybody can see. That's why I feel like this goes like I would totally get a lot more done on these things if I did longer programs, but I kind of like the pause here and there. It's good stuff. Okay, so this thing is wild. It's got this little neck ventral thing underneath it is like a tendril. I'm really feeling like that needs to be magenta. It's kind of like a coif or whatever. I don't know what color it is in the stock photos, but we're going to go with it being magenta in our deal. We may fade it up, maybe give a little bit of a top highlight where it comes to the yellow at the very top, but we want this to stay pretty dark fleshy. Yeah, and that's just going to help us with that color break. There's that silly refrigerator again. Kind of fun. Definitely can tell it's live. I can't fake that. I can't fake a refrigerator coming on randomly in the middle of nowhere. I mean, maybe I could. Seems like a ridiculous thing to fake, but I don't know. People fake stuff all the time now. I mean, heck, I even fake a little bit. I use the AI to make my thumbnails, just because you know it's way faster. I can't draw that many things fast enough to be able to come up with one every single day. I want that. Oh, ain't that fast. Especially when it's like a full colored, awesome looking piece. You can tell it's AI though, which is fine. Like, I think it's great for thumbnails. Especially because you're gonna come in here, you're gonna see me making stuff, so it's not like I'm just using AI to sell my stuff. You know, some of those channels get a little weird where it's nothing but AI. Where you can tell it's even like it's like an AI voice. Like, man, y'all didn't even really try. You just literally phoned this one in. All right, back here in this stuff, we are definitely gonna get it. Ooh, that's hard to get in. I'm gonna try to get it to be this one. Hello, butt. What? What is it? Yeah? Hello, butt. Everybody say hi to butt. He's been extra needy today. I don't know why. He wanted to come up and say hello to everybody. Can you say hi? Can you meow for everybody? He's usually very talkative. And he purrs like crazy when he gets going. Hi. Hello. Hello, butt. You like, give me my scritches. Give me my scritches. Give me my scritches. You had enough yet? I'm trying to work. I am. You just come in here to give your people their attention. I think you have fans now. You and Octavia. Oh, what it would be like to be a cat, y'all. Could you just imagine just being able to, like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna lounge around the house. I'm gonna eat a little bit. Maybe I'll chase a mouse if it shows up. Mainly I'm gonna terrorize people. There you go. Kristen says hi, butt. Butt. He's funny. Yeah, you like the beard. Both my cats really like my beard. They like to get their faces in it and rub around like this. And they'll just kind of slowly like move their head into it. Okay, back to work. This is not the kitty power hour. It isn't. Are you gonna get over there? Don't eat the paint. Hey, don't eat the paint. What? What are you doing? Hey. You're knocking stuff over. Hey. Cat, you're crazy. Can you get down? Can you get down? Oh, you want more, huh? What are you doing? Bro, you're like right in my way. Hey, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy. Hey, bro, you got to move. Cats. Oh, goodness. That was fun. Okay. Where were we? We were putting Magenta deep inside this guy's little carapace thing. Or we're trying to, anyway. Definitely not easy. It's like what Ringo Starr used to say, it don't come easy. And no, it don't come easy. Gotta pay your dues if you want to sing the blues. And you know it don't come easy. Yeah, we definitely need to get some music on. Y'all don't want to listen to me sing. It's terrible. Although I have a good time doing it. I love singing. I'm just, I'm not always the best at it. We like karaoke. Are you over there eating my plant? Hey, quit eating the plant. Quit it. But. He's always eating my plants. Cat forever like to eat plants, man. Well, I gotta be careful what I grow. He ate my last. I had a thing. I don't know what they call it. It's well, I don't know what its scientific name is. We always call them Christmas cactuses. I don't know if that's what they're really called. But I had one and he killed it because he just kept eating it. He's so funny. Yes, you. What? No, I have to work. I have to work. I think he's leaving. What a crazy kidder. He's so fun. Wonder if Octavia will show up next. She is not always so much fun. She is, she definitely, she's that the old mean cat stereotype. Where it's like, oh, I like my humans. The whole two of them that I like. And she only likes me sometimes. She likes Kristen all the time. That is definitely Kristen's cat. Although, I was trying to get a cat for myself. Because I love cats. I actually love all animals, really. If I could, I'd have an otter. But I think that's a little bit. I think keeping an otter as a pet is not really a great idea. Like, you shouldn't do that to the otter. He needs to be out in the world doing his otter thing. But, you know, if I owned like acreages of land, I I definitely start like an otter preserve or something. Take care of otters. So goofy. Well, we're getting up there quick on this one, huh? Definitely want to start getting that magenta into this. Probably should have painted this magenta instead of purple and then magenta, but I think it's just going to look out. It's going to be fine by the time we get it all said and done. It'll look great. Alright, get this guy, get this little bit of stuff finished up. We'll check our glue on our psychophage again. Should be getting pretty darn close. And hopefully we can move on to its next step. Now that we are an hour and a half into this one, which is crazy. Get back on there. Done. Okay. Alright. Looks like a lot of it's done. That's still drying a little bit up there. But I feel like we can start putting in a little bit of material to help fix this up. Now in this case, maybe just a little tiny bit of mill put. It takes a little while for it to set up though, so that's dangerous. Because it's just slightly off. I think if it's small like that, it'll be all right. It should. It's not like we're not trying to put a whole lot of mill put on there, so it should harden up pretty quickly. When you're putting a lot and you're trying to like fill a big gap or something like that, it doesn't work out so well to do quick. Because it takes a while for it to set up. Yeah. I think we can put it on there and then we can paint it and it'll be fine. Because we don't really have to sand this or anything. We can just put it in there and kind of, since this is going to look dirty anyway, it'll be fine. And this stuff's interesting. Oh, I don't think I've shown you guys this stuff before. So, it's milliput. Okay. This is the terracotta color. I bought this over at New World Comics and Games. Great guy. Down on 29th Street in Midwest City. So, two different sticks, similar to green stuff. You mix these two things together in equal parts, and then you let it set up for X amount of time. And it turns to like stone. It will become, and it does. It gets hard. It gets like hard like a rock. And it's great for filling cracks. It's great because you can sand it too. It's great for filling cracks. It's great for making little sculptures or whatever have you. Or, you know, there's lots of different things that you can use milliput for. So we got two pieces of it. It's pretty close in equal amounts. Okay, we're just gonna mix this together. Not as easy when it's the when it's this in these gloves. These gloves, I keep pinching the edges of them. So anyway, we're just gonna keep mixing them, keep mixing them, keep mixing them. until it all gets homogeneous. There we go. And then we just need a little tiny bit underneath this guy. Get up where you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to put that in there, just kind of force it up under there with my thumb, my fee-fi-fo thumb. Okay, just to kind of even that out and make it look less like it's a part of the model sticking out of our base. We'll do the same thing on this side. And then we're just going to let that harden up. It's a very thin layer. Cool thing about this too is you can take a little bit of water and you can kind of blend it on, and it will smooth itself out. Very similar to our what is this? Sculptamold. And you might have to pull out some sculpting tools to kind of get it to go on there right. You just want to kind of hide that little section, make it look like it's part of the deal when we come back. And the great thing is that's already going to be a brown for us, so when we come back to paint it, it will paint up real nice. So that will be advantageous to us. Come on, lock in. Anywho, it's still trying to lift up on us. The glue may not quite be done. You can see where it's just kind of not quite bonded down in there. But let's go ahead and put that clamp back on it then. And we'll build up that other side while we're waiting on this to finish. You can probably even put a little bit of material in there to finish that, and we'll just leave it as the clamps. That's not going to be fun. We might end up having to do one more dang episode of this thing. We're going to see. So same thing here. We're just trying to get that to where it doesn't look like it's sitting off the edge too far. We want it to look like the edge of the hill is intersecting with the edge of that piece of rubble. Okay. Maybe our last little bit needs to go around this guy. I'm going to roll this guy into the little snake. Everybody knows how to make snakes, right? Isn't that the first thing you learn? How to make snake. I made a snake. Now we just got to get that snake to stick on there, right? Get on there. Get on there. There we go. That's probably a little too long for what I'm trying to do here. Alright, and we're just going to seal in these little areas on the sides of it. I'm going to leave it that toe open because that's where that glue is still drying. So I'm going to leave that toe area open. But we're going to kind of work the rest of this stuff around. Alright, so I'm going to keep pressure on this. I'm going to move this. We want to keep pressure down because we don't want this lifting up yet till that glue finishes settling. Okay. And we're back on. We can do this side. You can see that white glue right there. It's starting to harden up, but it's not quite there yet. We're going to leave, there's a little hole right there where it's kind of breathing out of. We're going to leave that there. We're going to let it breathe. And then that hole is kind of in the back of places. So you're not really going to see it. We'll just fix that with some paint and paint that hole in and make it look like maybe there was a, who knows, little critter lived in there or something like that before the Tyranids came. And now they're going to eat the fluffy bunny. Not the fluffy bunny. They're going to eat it. That's what Tyranids do. They eat things. Well, poopers. I was hoping we were going to be able to finish this up today, but I don't know. That one's going to be easy. We'll just paint this as a rock. Or more of this look at that up there. We'll paint it as more of this structure. Paint that kind of like this color when we get there. I don't know. Maybe we, whoop. That'll scare you good. Just kind of keep working on getting it secured, getting it to look proper. Again, it's gonna have to sit and dry a little bit more. Which sucks. I was really trying to get done with this thing today. Maybe we'll just work on the star killer or screamer killer until this is set up. It's not like I have anywhere to go today. I don't really have anywhere to go. So they can keep working. Eventually, oh, I really need to go put this lamb dish on, but I guess we can cook it tomorrow. I did get some laundry moved around like I was supposed to today, so I got that done, which is nice. Alright, we're going to let that hang out for just a little while. So we gotta let all that set up for a second, and then we can come back and paint it. So I guess we're back onto the screamer killer. I'll take a little break. Take a cup of drink of water. Oh, but you know, these things take time. You got to be patient with them, especially when you're trying to do like a funky, fancy base. The fancier you get, the harder this becomes. So just remember that if you want it to have a super fancy look, that you're investing another round of time. That could mean in the paint process. It could, as you're seeing, it could mean in the in the flocking process. There's lots of places that this can become an issue, one way or the other. It just kind of depends on you know exactly what you're doing. So, all right. Anyway, let's get back to painting this guy up. Okay. Come back and start getting these redone right, so they'll look good for us while we're sitting around waiting on stuff to happen anyway. And they'll start looking better on the camera. We'll come back and do our Naples too, get all that figured out, and then shoot, we may be out on to washing this guy today, so we can get started on him again. Whenever we finish up that other bit of business. I really do kind of feel like I'm gonna want to just kind of keep on this sprint here. I definitely like having like a short videos to share more regularly, where we're finishing models. I gotta figure out how to pick up my pace on all that. But there's a lot to all this YouTube stuff, making thumbnails and analyzing data and producing videos, editing videos. Yes, keep you busy, that's for sure. I think I was talking about this the other day, where like you have to be self-motivated to be good at this. It would be really easy just to kind of call it quits, because it doesn't feel like anybody's ever watching or whatever. Because, you know, my chat doesn't get blown up every day or whatever have you. There's lots of reasons why people think it's not working. And this one seems like it's starting to. It feels like we're climbing. We're getting there. We get a little bit more video viewage every week. We pick up subscribers all the time. And that's kind of what the game is, I think. So we'll just keep plugging away at it, and theoretically, in a couple of months, this should be moving a little bit more, and then a couple months after that, we'll be moving a little bit more, and da-da-da-da-da. I remember when I first started this, and it was just like 2 or 3 people watching. Total. Like, that's all the views I got, was like 2 or 3 at the beginning. And now we have people drop in all the time. Not always to chat. Sometimes just people want to drop in and take a look at what we're doing, see where the progress is, and then they pop right off. Some people come back and they watch the whole thing later, which is really cool. I see you. I see you. I acknowledge you. And I appreciate you. Big time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's looking good. You see that purple starting to go back down on those thigh pads, and it really starts to look cleaner again. Now this isn't super required for us to go ahead and get our wash on it, but I wanted, or at least this first wash, but I wanted to get it done again because it's going to look a lot better on the camera with this done. Starting to look fursomes. Rawr. Rawr. Most of it just cover up that milliput. Milliput. And that's that Dioxazine purple that we've been using for the undercoat on all of our Tyrannid carapace and armors. Dioxazine, whatever that word is, very hard to pronounce. I should go to Google and have it pronounce it for me. Although that's not always right, I've noticed. Maybe it's just dialect. Maybe like sometimes it is right, but the dialect from a different place is different. I don't know. Goodness sakes. Okay. Okay. I'll go till my eyes get buggy. That's what I'll do. Whenever my eyes get to where I can't handle it anymore, and that's when we're going to sign off. Because eventually my eyes get to where it's like, oh my god, I can't stare at this yellow anymore. Which is kind of nice that it does seem to be working better at the lower end of the spectrum. Man, it's hard to tell what's what there. I think that's shell. Man, it is really hard to tell what all is going on here. Maybe we need to pull up a reference. References are good. We need Screamer Killer. Oh, no, don't take me to eBay. I just want to see the picture. Oh, this is fun. This has got the old one. This has got the old one on it, too. Hold on just a second, folks. Can I get this to show us the whole picture? Oh yeah, here we go. Carnifexes through the ages. Yeah, don't let me save it. There we go. And that way we can all look at it. Carnifexes through the ages. So we're down to this guy down here. But that's what they started out as. That's the classic Screamer Killer. That guy right there. He's so crazy. So anyway, we were trying to look at a good picture of this guy. Alright, this is a good picture of him. This is pretty close to the box art. Yeah, it is really hard to tell what all he's got going on in there. And you can see he had that split. Same thing we had. We tried to cover ours up with the milliput, which I think we did okay. So that's good. But that still doesn't really tell us what all that is. I'm guessing it's his shell. All he has it is kind of like, I don't know. Alright. We're going to make our own choices. I'm going to turn this part purple. And then we'll take the rest of that as it being the bone. Because I feel like at least this blade right here is part of that armor. And that blade is part of that armor. It doesn't feel... still seems wrong. Yeah, let's bring it all the way to there. Yeah. Yes, that looks better. I mean, it will when it gets all done. That'll be more even. It'll look more attached properly. Like the actual bones are attaching to the right places and stuff. Okay, let's get back to our Naples yellow. try to fix that little mistake. Although I think that's supposed to end up magenta later. We can do that. We can make this a less of a fade as the other one. Paint over that milliput. That's gonna look real. That's gonna look great. It's gonna make it look a lot less split. That'll look more like divot to the bone and less like a split in the model itself. And you can see as this stuff's hardened over, it looks less like a split and more like a point. And the one we were looking at before, you could definitely see where the model is split. And that's just from it being a push fit. These push fit models, they're cool to build and they're fast, but you know, you don't. It has its drawbacks. And one of them is that you can kind of sometimes see the little split where the model came together. The mold line, if you will. Not necessarily from when it was made, mold line, but from where the molded pieces come together. Get in here and get all these little places where we got a little wacky with one of the colors. I want to tone them down before we put the wash on. Alrighty. Oop. Nope, not quite. Still drying. Ugh, I have this bad feeling we're going to be stuck with it. Wait until tomorrow. In that case, maybe we'll do a bonus episode tomorrow. We're almost at 2 hours for today. I'm going to take a little bit of break. We're just going to hang out for a second, see what's up. That makes this almost, what? Almost 3? Golly. That's fun. Maybe we should play some music, some royalty-free music. See if we can find something fun. All this stuff's pretty much the same, I suppose.
The internet really runs our life.
Oh my god. TDS and an ad. Little space banjo. That's funny. Oh, space banjo. What does that even mean, space banjo? Is it because I can't say Firefly? Probably is. You gotta be a pretty deep nerd to understand that reference, that Firefly. A lot of people really like the show. I kind of liked that show. Not as much as everybody else did, though. It was good. It was good, though. Had some fun parts. Alright. Golly, I probably could get that number 1 out for this. Where's that big guy? Current number 1. Yeah, I'll be a whole lot faster. Get out this bigger brush. Boom, 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 boom. Alright. At least a little bit of background music. It's not bad. Hopefully it's muffled enough on the other end where it's not too obtrusive into what I'm saying. I'll come back and watch it later, find out. If it sounds good, then maybe we'll do it again. Doesn't have to be Space Banjo either. We can play all sorts of royalty-free kind of sounds and whatever have you. Oh yeah. They're gonna look great as Payne's gray. They're gonna look mean as fart. And don't worry about if you get a little bit into that magenta on this. We're going to be using Payne's Gray as our wash for the magenta parts anyway. So it'll be alright. If we get a little bit on there, we're going to be able to come back and touch that up. So don't stress it. Do not stress it. You're not allowed. No one is allowed to stress models, because models are just models. They just be modeling. So we don't stress it. We just come back later and fix it or finish it. It's like we're not going to stress that other thing too much. Although I feel like we're gonna be able to get it done today. I feel like I'm gonna be able to sit here and mess with it until it's done. Man, I really wish I'd have started that lamb though. I was kind of excited to eat that lamb. I knew I was forgetting something. You ever have that thing where you're messing with something all day and you're like, oh, I'm forgetting something? It's probably because I didn't get too much sleep last night. I had one of these weird dreams where like I couldn't find my medicine and like I couldn't breathe in my dream. It was weird. Oh yeah. Those Payne's Gray claws really make that thing look mean. First. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, we forgot to do that one, the magenta. Look at there. We'll have to come back. I don't know what else I would do, but it's definitely gonna have to come back and paint it. Alright. I love that Payne's Gray. It's so nice. It looks, it's not black. It's gray, and so it just looks menacingly dark. You know. Oh, this thing's gonna look so cool. I can't wait to finish this one. Psychophage is really neat too, but oh, this one's gonna look super cool. Trying to get all these base coats done on this guy while we're sitting around waiting. I'll probably get over there and start painting on getting the details done on the psychophage here in a second, whether it's done or not. I can work with the clamp, work around the clamp while I get the rest of it done. Oh, we'll see. We have to keep this guy out again to get to the bottom of that claw. Get out of there! Get out of there! Come on now. Pop out of here, little sucker. There he goes. And this one was put on upside down on the other end, so I had to switch them, which is why they're kind of, two of them are kind of funky. Because I put them together wrong, and I had to come back and do it. They were wrong when they got primered, and so I had to fix them later. It's pretty funny. In the end, it'll be fine. We all make mistakes, right? Alright, now make it little hoofies. Oh, hoofies. Hoofs. Hoofs. Dark. Yes. You're gonna look really cool. Hey, you get over there. You're getting in the way. Yeah, I think I like this angle a lot better. Feels like we're catching a lot more in frame this way. I'm definitely going to watch this episode, but I think I'm going to watch it on warp speed. I think you can listen to it. I think you can move like at 2 times speed or something like that. Watch a video twice as fast. I'll have to look and see, but I think you can. I think here's a way you can. You can play back a video fast. At least on my end. Maybe it's not on all sides of it. Well, he took up just about all that Payne's gray. Mm-hmm. 2 straight hours. Nice. I don't know if these longer shows go over as well as the shorter ones. We'll find out. I've done a couple of these longer ones now, so we'll be able to start kind of looking at some data. Usually that view counter is clicked up by now, but it could also be malfunctioning. I don't know that I get the fastest data or the fastest information in the world off of that thing. It's also one of those busy weekend Fridays where everybody's probably got a bunch of stuff going on. A lot of this is like that. We've had so many weekends where kids have been home or stuff's been going on. This is that weekend where everything's kind of like, oh, we got to get our other stuff back together. And that silly dog barking. It'll be interesting to see her. Woo! I can hear that. That means it's 3 o'clock, y'all. And the markets have closed, the regular markets for the stocks. If you mess with stocks. If you don't, then nothing you worry about. Except for it's 3 o'clock. Poppers, chill. 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 Oh my gosh. That dog's got problems. Anywho. Oh my gosh. There's absolutely nothing out there. It's just the wind. There's nothing out there. I promise, Princess Tappy Toes. There's nothing out there. You don't need to go out there. Because there's nothing out there. Alright. Okay. I think we're going to leave him alone. And we're going to get back to work on our second phase. There's some colors we can do. We can do this stuff coming out of his top. And we can start getting the Payne's gray part of that one done. Because it's still got some Payne's gray. It's got to get done. I don't know why I just stuck my fingers in my water. That's weird. Alright. Payne's gray on this guy. Mm-hmm. Just putting out a little bit of Payne's gray on, and all these places where we need it to have that color for it. We're going to come back and we're going to put a little bit of a highlight on this with a lighter version of this Payne's gray when this is all said and done. Right now, let's just get the rest of these touch-ups done. So we can get that ready. While we're waiting on it to dry over there. Which it will. It may just take a little longer than we want it to. We're definitely going to be super patient with it and just kind of let it do its thing. Or at least we will now. We were trying to be impatient. It didn't work out well for us. Go back and look. Oh, shoot. Okay. It's just getting rid of any of those spots where either the paint's rubbed off it or the plaster is making it white, or maybe we hit it with the yellow when we were doing that. We're just clean up all these little spiky bits. My middle boy should be home here in just a second. The old bus rider. We can go ahead and Payne's gray this rock first. We could do it. We could have done it black, but I feel like the gray is gonna work out better for us in the end. Since we already got our brush dirty with it anyway, and we're working on it. Let's go ahead and put that down. Have that part done too. And we'll go ahead and any mistakes we make, we can fix them. Especially because a lot of this is dry. We got a little bit crazy right there. So we just get it wet. Suck that extra paint up off of there. Voila. Like nothing happened. And we'll just paint that to look like some of these rocks back here, and it should be good to go. So we got a little bit of a spot back here. I don't know if that's glue or plaster. Get pretty liquidy, put it in there. Let it sit. Let it sink down on there. Almost like a wash. There we go. Let that set up. Okay. Slowly but surely getting there. Little bits at a time. Start running out of things to say. Now we got another viewer on, which is cool. Oh yeah. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we'll get this one kind of started. Putting the gray back on it. Super time consuming. Super worth it. You gotta have good eyes. Really, a good eye. You have to get good attention to detail. I mean, obviously, I don't have good eyes. I wear glasses that make my eyes see better, but I have a great attention to detail. So, like, when I look at things, I'm looking at all the small nooks and crannies of it. Doom. I'm starting to get this tune memorized in my brain a little bit. Boom boom. Yes, looking good, looking good. That sounds like the bus. Not that you fine folks probably heard it, but I certainly did. All right. That's fun. That plaster's kind of showing through for us, almost like it's going to color the stone for us automatically. That would be really new. That'd be really interesting. Okay. Let's start working on getting these up. Oh, sounds like he's bringing up the trash cans. Good kid. Okay, so we did those washes in here to kind of set the bottoms. And we could dry brush this, but I really want to make sure that I'm getting these edges with this. I'm probably going to come back and dry brush it later with a lighter version of this teal. Right now I kind of want to really dictate where I'm putting this level of this teal. I want to tell it kind of where to go and what to do. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How was school?
Good.
Awesome. Learn anything interesting today?
No.
No?
Not
Hell,
really.
that sucks. What'd y'all do?
Mostly review stuff for test on Monday.
Oh, cool. You ready?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, that sounds good. I'm trying to get this silly thing done today because I'm tired of looking at it. We've been on for 2 hours and 13 minutes so far.
Oh.
But yeah, starting to look pretty good.
Yep. My wolves came. I'm excited.
The wolves are here already?
I think that's what they are.
Go get it.
It seems to be.
Well, let's find out. He's excited. He's the Space Wolves player. Which, if you don't know about Space Wolves, they're funny. Like Space Vikings. It certainly does sound like it. Okay, come on here so everybody can see. I don't typically use my children for advertising or anything, but we're trying to create filler, so this kind of works out for me.
Come on.
Do you need a knife?
Yeah, probably.
Here you go.
There.
All right, hand me the knife back. There you go. Don't be messing around with it. Oh, my old knee. Oh, my knee may be telling us to stop. Space Wolves are sick, says Dano Art. Thanks. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, he's super excited to get on it. He's definitely a son of Fenris. I personally don't play certain things. Yeah. It says nice Bob Ross bobblehead. He's fun. He also gets these change. There's different ones of them. It's super cool. Goodness sake, son, do you need help?
No.
Do you need a sharper knife?
No. I'm doing fine.
He's struggling.
Almost got me in packs. For the most part.
For the most part. Cool. All right. There we go. So anyway, Mr. Dano, this is what we are currently working on. There's Tyranids. This guy got a few more things to do on him, and we're going to get him ready to rock and roll. But since these guys got here, it's always fun to do a little bit of an unboxing. Sweet. So there's their Space Wolves Combat Patrol. It's a pretty cool set of figures. Sweet, man. You excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
You get a Lieutenant, Primaris Reavers, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. And then you got a set of Primaris Intercessors, which you already have some other Intercessors that are regular Primaris. Yeah. But this should help us. We should have more heads and things like that we can swap out of that kit and make that kit, help upgrade that kit to Space Wolves using the extras in here, which is kind of the idea. So, super cool, man. Well, that's exciting, and I'm glad you're ready for your tests. He's extra lovey today, so yeah, we got that going. Awesome, man. Well, whenever we get time, we'll break those guys out and put those together. And you got that other Intercessor squad too, so we get all that to put together. That's a lot of models. I think you have almost a full army. Let's see. Dano Art says, I love the plumes, the aqua color. Yeah, this teal is gonna look great when it's all said and done. So actually, we're gonna get back to that. Thanks for showing that to us, Kale. Or I try not to yell things. All right. Appreciate it, my friend, my son, my brother in Warhammer. So yeah, I've got he does Space Wolves, and then my oldest son is Mechanicus, and my youngest son is Necrons, and my daughter wants to play too, but I think she just wants to play whatever. She's not the kind of person that just picks things like that. She just wants to play. So I'm gonna paint these guys, and I have a Marine Army that came with the other side of this Leviathan box to kind of get ready for. So she can pick whichever one of those she wants to play until she decides what she wants. Alright, so what I'm just trying to do here is just kind of trying to get these raised sections. We're going to come back here through with an even lighter version of this aqua color. Teal. It's a teal is what it's actually called. It's a golden acrylics paint. So again, we're just trying to basically get these edges going. We want to leave those valleys alone. Now I could normally, like I said, normally you could do this with a dry brush. But I kind of want to have a little bit more control. So I'm coming through here and I'm doing all these little individual pieces by hand. It's kind of like we did with the stippling on the bricks. We just kind of want to create that effect that it's smoke, like it's bubbling away or blowing away, whatever have you. Yeah. Alright, I'll go on to the other side. Again, leave that darker where the wash was, leave that down in the valleys. And we're gonna get that all of that. So, yep, and after we get done with this guy, we'll keep working on some of these other ones throughout the channel's progression. I think next we're going to deal with that Hamilton piece because that's got to be done. Now, I really want the tops of this to really have that brighter color. So we're going to, when we look at the top, we're going to go make sure we got it covered. Thanks for folks that stopped by. Really appreciate you. Love the comments. Thank you so much for Mr. Dano or Mrs. Dano or XZ Dano. I don't know. I don't actually know. So, or Dano. That may be Dano. It's always hard to tell when you just see a screen name what's going on. I think we all make assumptions, maybe bad, maybe good, but everybody makes assumptions when they read something. Dano, not sure. It's a cool little guy on there though. It's like a monkey or something. Anyway, I appreciate you stopping by, friend. I appreciate your comments. I'm really kind of taking this music too. That really seems to be making this pass a lot faster. I really don't feel like I have to fill the void with my voice quite as much. Yeah, definitely starting to look better. Wonder if we're good here. Not quite. We're almost there. We might end up having to put more material in it to get it to seal up properly. I don't know that we ever had the height on that quite right from the get-go. In which case we could theoretically just make some mill put and stick it on there and push it down into it. Maybe a little bit more in here. Yeah, that's looking really, really nice. All right. Now we're going to hit the dry brush. Get our old reliable out here. Mm-hmm. So with this, we want a little bit of white with our teal. A little bit more white than that. All right. Much lighter teal color here. I'm going to wipe some of this excess off on my paper towel. And then we're just going to try and... This stuff goes in such a strange direction. We're going to try and hit the tops of all this exposed stuff with this lighter color. A little more paint, dry it off just slightly. Because remember, the idea is to dry brush, right? Dry brush. So the brush needs to be dry. That is the name of the game. The fun part about this is brush strokes don't quite matter as much as long as you're staying organized and moving with the model is the big key. But we can kind of come up and down, we can kind of come across it. Just trying to barely dust the tips of this frosting, if you will. That's really going to help us stand out. Really get that going good for us, which is what we want. And even it gets into that little bit of recess where the washes are. It's gonna, when it tones down, because remember, colors tone down as they dry. That's gonna, it'll fade into that just fine. Oh yes, I like it. I like it a lot. I might even do one more white, almost pure white. I'm gonna go up here and grab this where we had put that in. I'm gonna wipe that out, and then just one more, and this one's just ever so slightly, just on a few sections, not everywhere, just the tippiest tips of everything. I want to let that kind of soak in. And this is just a barely touching the tops, just the edges. We're not trying to get in there at all. There we go. And that should give us that. Now they look like they're really flowing. I got all those different tones and colors in there. Yeah, that's what we like. I'm such a dork. Okay. I don't see that back piece didn't get in there quite right, did it? Nope. I think it's dried now. So we're gonna have to get in there. I don't know if you can even see that. See, there's a little crack down there where it didn't quite sit in right. So we are gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to go ahead and mill put some stuff up. And I'm not sure if this has dried up completely. It looks like it is. We do have a small crack. I feel like if we mill put that up, then it was gonna look fine. So I feel like we're gonna mix up some more mill put, and we're gonna get these little bits fixed. And that one's done. So we may even be able to come around the back of that one and really sink this little piece in here too. So that'll help us really help get the rest of this to center up and look good for us, because we're definitely dry. This guy is secure as heck. So that's definitely been time for it to dry. I think it just wasn't able to sit quite down as far in there as I wanted it to. And I felt like we didn't have it up far enough in the first place. So kind of my own fault. And that, you know, you really gotta look at yourself sometimes and say, you know what, that didn't work for me. I need to do it a different way next time, or I need to do better at this, or I need to think more, or whatever. You just kind of take yourself through those processes and say, well, what did I do better this time than last time? What did I not do as good? You know, this whole project, I can guarantee you, if I did it again, the first thing I would do is not put all these models together. I'd paint them, or parts of them, and then I would get them put together. I probably would knock off all the pegs, because the push fit. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to talk about push fit. If I were to buy this for a kid that didn't really know anything about modeling, these would be awesome. Because you didn't have to, you know, your first ones you don't get, it's fine. It doesn't have to look great. It's no worries. And so you could put them together easy. You wouldn't have to have a lot of tools. You know, and a lot of the stuff that, you know, a lot of us bigger modelers do, or older modelers do, it requires a lot of tools that you have to have that not everybody can afford, or can store. Like a lot of, and I get in this argument with old heads a lot, because you know we're all kind of stuck in our ways. Oh, well, you should just get a UTU, and it's like, okay, well, but what if somebody lives in an apartment and it's like a little apartment, and they don't have room for a, you know, like a 3D printer and I have a table wire cutter and a special washer and dryer for my 3D printer and all sorts of junk in here. I got all the space. Oklahoma's got nothing but space, so I have all the space to do it in. But not everybody has that. Some people, they've got, you know, they have to make do with what they have, and so maybe these models are the way to go. So there's nothing per se wrong with them. And there's ways you can get around the push fit. We've shown you a few of them so far, to make it look good and to kind of get rid of some of those cracks. But you know, sometimes you just got to get it done, get them painted, and get them playing. Because like I said before, in the end, it's a game. So if you want to play the game, then, you know, what does it matter if it has a little crack in it or whatever? It's fine. It still plays, doesn't it? You still measure the unit and, you know, its distance to target and fire. Like, that didn't change. So, you know, maybe it's just me. Or maybe it's not. Alright, we'll put round 2. These processes always take a while. Especially custom basing. Custom basing is... it's so much easier just to take the thing and just put it on the base and throw some flock on there and be done with it. But that isn't always what everybody wants to do. Okay. So we made ourselves our little clay snake. Ooh, cat hair. Butt. We're going to take our little dilly, and we are going to wrap it around this thing. And take our stick, kind of move it around. See, now we can come back and fill up that hole we were worried about before. Just trying to figure out how to fake it. Now we don't have to. You can just fill it up. Alright, now this stuff is water soluble at first, so you can get in there and you can use a wet wooden clay tool to manipulate it a lot like clay. We did this once already today, so this is like part 2. Maybe for anybody who showed up later in the video. And again, you could do this with your thumb. I did it with my thumb earlier. Right now, we're just trying to roll this down on there. I'm going to get a little bit of water, smooth it out, and let it dry, and it'll look like it's all one piece, which is the idea. Maybe just a tiny little bit more right here. And I'll just blend it in. And it'll help kind of start to disguise what we did and make it look like he's standing on some sort of mud bank piece or whatever you want to think of it as. Now, a lot of things to remember is that, like, people don't know. People don't know that you had to struggle on something, or that something didn't quite set up perfectly the first time, or whatever. Like, people don't know that. So unless you tell them, they won't know it. So when you get your stuff done, as long as it looks good at the end, that's what matters. Okay, good. That's looking great. Yep. Alright, that one looks good. I think this side looks just fine. We were talking about maybe putting a little bit in here, and maybe a little bit underneath that other little guy. I'm starting to get more viewers. Hello and welcome. If you're just joining us, we are working on a psychophage for the Tyranid army of Warhammer 40k. That's this guy right here. We're down to working on its base and getting its touch-ups and stuff like that. It's almost complete. We're so close. So, but I got to get the rest of this, these feet hidden away from the model so that it looks flush and clean before we put our last rounds of paint down on the base, and then flock it with the little bits of flock we're going to do and all that stuff. So that is where we are. This is Pieces Pat Paints. I am Pat. I do all the painting of the pieces. That is what I do. Doesn't really matter what the pieces are. I'll paint them. Get that out there. I'm trying to get used to working on the camera. Come here. Get there. Now you've laid down. There we go. Now you come down this way. Now lay down. And then come this way. Lay down, lay down, lay down. Maybe got a little too much pressure. We're going to get a little bit more water on our tool. Water really helps. Especially when you want it to get it to blend into a surface. A little bit of water and it will blend right down. All right. Wetness again. Roll that down. Get it wet, roll it down, get it wet, roll it down, get it wet, roll it down. Do 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 do. Welcome, welcome for anybody coming in. I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but I think that's okay. I think when you're live like this, you get to say things like that a lot. You say, hey, hello, welcome. Because I want people to feel welcome. So I'm going to say it. So that's where we're at. feel kind of bad for the people that watch this video on the repeat and they had to listen to me say that all the time. But I think you folks understand, and it'll be okay. Okay, so now when this all dries out, which it will take a while for the milliput to completely dry out, but we should be able to start painting on it here soon. Which is great, because that's getting close already. And again, like I said, we might have to kick this into a bonus episode tomorrow, because we're getting ready to hit like 3 hours of working on this guy. Well, this guy and this guy, we're working on him too. But I was hoping to get. Now we got to get back in there and fix that one. I was hoping to get all this done today, but I don't think we're gonna now. Or maybe we will. Maybe I'll just run like a marathon and just keep going. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Alright, so again we made a little snake. Yay! Snakes! I'm tired of these snakes on this plane. Okay. This one's going to go back in there. So we want to kind of, if we can get that to loop around that leg. Alright. I might have to break out my better tools for this one. I might not be able to do this with a skewer. But that kind of did not dry right for us. So we got to make sure we get that to settle in. It looks like it popped out of its hole when it was in the process of drying, when the glue was drying. Which that just kind of happens, guys. Sometimes you feel like you got it in there right, and you just didn't, and you know, when you come back, you're like, oh shoot. But that's okay. That's what Pat's here for. I'm here to show you how to fix it when you screw up, because like I screw up a lot. Not really. I don't screw up that much. I just like to say that because it's fun. I don't mind taking a few shots at myself. Just because it's fun. All in good fun. All in good fun. Alrighty. Oh man, a little too much water there. Milliput likes water, and when it starting out. So if you've got to smooth it down, then that is the way to go, because it will smooth out and you can get it to connect to things really well. Just kind of be patient with it and work with it, and it'll do what you need it to do. Ooh, that one's kind of funky. Oh yeah, I see where it missed. I totally missed the hole, is what happened. So the little peg that's on there, it didn't actually go in the little hole that it's supposed to go in. I missed it, and I didn't get it set in there and push it down properly like I should have. Come here. So this is all right. I'll show you guys how to fix it, and we're gonna move on to the next part. And there's a couple of things we might throw in there just to mask that up, because we can set a little stalk of weeds or something right there to help cover up this little place right here where it's kind of a little too high. When we come back with our plants, we'll fix that up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Push that material up there. Get it to level out. All right. I definitely like having a little bit of music. That's super helpful. We're going to do that I'm going to figure out what the volume needs to be on that, and we're going to keep that going. Just a little tiny little bit of music in the background. Doesn't seem to be affecting our internet usage at the moment, so I'm not going to stress it. Plus, we're about to get some better internet, and that's huge for us. I know for those of you who are watching, there probably some of you are like, "Oh my God, it looks awful," just because the dang resolution is not great. And that is the internet, I found out. Thank you, Crypto Mikkel, my friend of mine. If you are interested in crypto mining, please go check out Crypto Mikkel. But he has been a big help with getting a lot of stuff figured out and moving properly. Him and another friend of the channel, Flying Arrow Magnetics, they do magnet fishing. If you like magnet fishing, it's like you take magnets and you go out and you throw them in a river or a lake and you find stuff. Or I guess there's anywhere where you could really throw a magnet to see if there was stuff in it. Wells or there's all sorts of places, I suppose. But they do some fun stuff. Definitely go check them out. They've got a good little fan base going over there, and they're fun. He's a fun guy. Both of them personal friends of mine. So, and super helpers. And Crypto Mikkel is responsible for this madness because he's like, "Oh, you should just do it on YouTube." I'm like, "Hey, that's a really good idea." Okay. Let's see. I'll let that harden up for just a little while longer. We can start doing some of this painting on some of this other stuff. We definitely need to come back with our paint spray again on a few things. Yeah, we still got plenty of stuff to do here. Although we are now the next part where I got to stand up. Make sure, folks, you stand up and move around and kind of give yourself some stretches every hour or so. It's really bad for you to not do that. So make sure you're getting up, stretching around a little bit, stand up. Oh, drink some water. Look at my fat belly. Don't look at my fat belly. Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh, where's my knee pop? Oh. Anyway, like I said, you shouldn't sit down without standing up for long periods of time. You should always stand up for a little bit. I probably should stand up longer than that, but we got work to do. Okay, let's see. I really think, okay, first things first, let's get our primary, our Space Marine piece finished down here. I feel like once it's done, I'll be happier. Oh, there's finally an error where we're not responding. Who knows what that means? Oh, it looks like that Ultramarine is the one that kind of went out on us. Hopefully that thing pops back over. I hate when it does that. I never know what that means. That means you guys can't see us or what? I hope that's not what it is. Alright, so just a little bit of ultramarine blue over this in the few places where it got a little bit of that plaster. And then I'm going to lighten this up, and I'm going to we need to switch down to our 0.5 for this, because we're going to give it just a little bit of a highlight. This is one of the things where I do like that this paint is a little thicker, because when you got to do stuff like this, it really is going to make a difference. When it's too thin, it likes to run around on you too much. When it's not, you can get it to be just right. Alright, get a little more water on that brush, clear it off. Make sure that little bead that likes to sit on the full is gone. Alright, now we're just going to barely highlight his edges here. They call this edge highlighting. What I might actually end up doing is doing a little bit of 2 different levels of highlighting. I might go a little thicker on this level and then come back with a even lighter one to get the next part of the highlight. And we're getting phone calls, which is interrupting our music. Go away. Yeah. So we're gonna basically do 2 stages of highlighting here. So we're gonna have this lighter color, this first lighter color, and then we're gonna come back with another level of the highlight. It'll be even a little bit lighter than this. And it's probably gonna go around just the very edges. So we want to bring out this blue. Watch that big old bubble. He's trying to catch a ride, All right. Very carefully. Pick out those fingers. Pick out this gauntlet. And the edge of that part of that armor. And there's a little flash of armor piece right down here. We just want to get that. And that edge. Oh, goodness sakes, that's real tight. The camera is like right where my brush, the back of my brush keeps tapping it. It's really tight. It's fun to do. It's fun to try though, because you're just kind of like, oh goodness, can I get in there? Because it is super, super tight. Okay, so, and that's going to leave, I don't know, you can actually see that on the camera very well, but it's going to leave kind of a little bit of a rim of an edge. Now, I'm going to come back one more time with it even lighter, and this time we got to be super careful. Because if you do this part wrong, and you got to start all over. Especially because we're not letting it dry in between. If you really, if you're nervous about trying edge highlighting, one of the best ways to do that is to let it dry in between. If you let it dry in between, then you can kind of hit it with water and it'll come off. It'll work out a whole lot better. Oh, I feel like that's too light still. And come down just a little bit more. Can bring a little bit more of that darker blue bits in. Kind of dissolve them in that paint. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's better. Deep breaths, bold strokes. And we're just barely touching these edges. Don't forget to breathe. And just be patient. Be very patient. Don't forget to clean your brush. Very patient. And watch the little bubbles on your foil. That's this metal part. You get bubbles of water on there, and then it flows into the deal, and it'll mess the whole thing up. Whoa, you'll be mad. I know I am. What happens to me? There we go, yes. Just the bare edges of it. Whoop. Unless my old eyes can see it. The good thing about this is the rest of it's on the ground. So as long as we can get just most the stuff that's on the top of it, then it'll be good enough, and we can kind of move on, which is great. But we want to bring out that edge. Because it really helps it kind of look better. Oh, looky there. We played out all our banjo music. What's next? Let's see. 80s retro wave mixtape. Hey, there we go. I consider turning down the video setting. Encoding overload. I don't know what that even means. And then it went away. That's wild. Do 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 do. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Just touch the edge. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Just touch the edge. Wet brushes. Deep breaths. Check that foil, don't they? Oop. That might be a little too thin. That's what I'm talking about. With those other paints, they'll get even thinner as you're working with them. Well, we gotta get that out of there before it dries. It's sitting in the recess. Whether it's that liquidy, you can just pull it right out, no problem. That one's even a little louder, isn't it? There we go. Don't want it so loud it's overtaking my voice. Hopefully it's not. I don't think it is. My voice carries a lot, so I'm not really terribly worried about it. Come on now, get on there. Be patient. Here we go. Now right here on the tops of these tips of these fingers. Yeah. Now it looks like a little ultramarine arm down there. Okay, now we wanted to make this little knob be a bone. Look at that bone color. And then we wanted to kind of give the rest of this a bloody stump look. So we're going to go ahead and go a little bit of white around this area. And that's going to sound weird, but bear with me. White. We're going to let that dry. And we're going to come back. We're going to hit it with an ink. And it's going to look way different. Take care of all these little spots where looks like we got some color incident on there. So we're definitely to the touch-up stage now. That's why it's important to kind of know which colors you're using so that you can touch things up. All right. Nope, not quite ready there. And this is separating again. So that's not a good sign at all. I really think we're going to have to let this thing sit overnight and dry, guys. I hate to say that. So I think we're going to have a bonus episode tomorrow. And since we're hitting 3 hours of running anyway, I think maybe it's time to go ahead and call this one a day. And we will come back tomorrow and finish it up. We got a lot of good stuff done today. So, you know, I'm pretty satisfied with it. But 3 hours of talking is a lot on my voice, and I really do need to get up and move around. And I think that this guy really needs to sit up and dry so that it's going to be exactly what we want tomorrow. So I'm going to smooth this stuff out. I'm going to get this all ready to set up. I'm going to do that off camera. And I'll see you tomorrow for the bonus episode, because I didn't get there. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there before Monday. We'll have this done this weekend. So anyway, thank you to everybody who came by. You're all amazing. Thank you to the people who are going to watch this later, because I know you will. And that's awesome too. Really appreciate that. Thank you to my my middle kid came in and shared Spaceballs with us, which is really cool too. Yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. We'll do another quick look at our psychophage here before I log out, so everybody can get a look at kind of where we are right now. Really starting to look sweet. I'm very excited about it. So we'll come back tomorrow. We'll get the rest of the stuff finished up. We'll get our little bit of grass and pieces that we want to put in, and then we're gonna go from there. Yeah, it's looking so good, but it does need to dry. It needs to harden up. It needs to do all the things. So, and I've almost spent like 4 hours in a pair of gloves, which as a chef, that's like a big no-no for me. After 2 hours, I'm like, oh, I should change these things. So like, it makes me look crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys had a great time. I did. We'll see you tomorrow for a bonus episode for those of you who want to see the end of the psychophage. And for those that want to skip ahead till Monday's episode, come check us out on that one. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.